So we're going to go ahead and take a look at the file a little further and sort of get things set up. So I'm going to go to double click on my perspective view here and make sure that my named view, my primary named view is current here. And I'm going to go ahead and set it to rendered in here. And I'm also going to right click or type in camera while in current, and I'm going to show my camera because sometimes it's nice to be able to see exactly where that camera is coming from when you're setting up your lighting. And I want to show you some previous lighting setups and talk about how it was set up, and then we'll go through and set up another couple of lighting pieces and talk about that. So what I'm going to do is go over here to my lights. And again, I've set these up, and again, we'll go through and set them up individually a little later, but I just wanted to give you guys an example and something that you could look at to see how the lighting works. And so each one of these rectangles here represents a lighting source, right, that's looking at and pointing at that. And I've renamed them. This is a northeast isometric, right? So one thing that I would do is start to kind of make sure that things match. So if I wanted this to say northeast isometric, I could actually delete it and save it again and save it to northeast ISO. So having things named consistently, you know, the lights matching the view and all that kind of stuff helps a lot, because these northeast lights go with this view, and then I have a couple of other lights that go with a right side view. So the other couple of things that are important to note is if I go to my perspective view and I go to rendered, right, I have set the ground plane. So that plane is set to a black material. So if I go to my materials over here, the base plane is set to black. So I just the black and assigned it out there, right? And it set that all to black. So we want a black background. So all of these guys are set to black. Let's see. Yeah, that one is the second base plane. I'll just use the same one for both of those, right? And then the other thing that I would recommend you doing, although it's not necessary, is coming in and just making a new layer a new material, and going in and selecting a plaster, right? And this will just be your base material. Don't change it. We're going to use white. I don't want colors. We don't want colors. We don't want anything else. I'm going to come in here and go back to shaded here. And then you can come in and drag your material on. Typically, I would prefer to do my material assignments by layer, but Inkscape tends to get a little buggy with that. So we're going to go ahead and just drag these guys on to the objects themselves. Since they're pretty simple objects, it works out fine. We can talk about layer material assignment for larger projects. It really works better. So I would go ahead and create that plaster and put that on your object, leave it at white. And then one of the last things you want to do is, if you double click on this plaster, the type is set to plaster, and what I want you guys to do is set it to Inkscape, right? So I'm just going to click on Inkscape, and that's going to allow us to adjust it in the Inkscape material tuner. So get that stuff set up, and then the next thing we'll do is open up Inkscape and look at the lighting.